grateful, so grateful that Ebony Peace, our A. Powell Davies intern, is willing to share some of her own personal experience and perspective on access or lack thereof. So I turn it over to Ebony now.
Hi, everyone. 77 years ago, my maternal grandmother's world turned upside down and all around when she found herself pregnant. Her father was a holiness bishop in the Pentecostal church. I don't know the details, but I do know that my grandmother was afraid. She submitted her fate to an illegal back alley abortion. She made it out alive, but not without serious consequences. For one, the whole event did not result in the termination of her pregnancy. Two, the botched procedure rendered her infertile for the rest of her life. I believe that if my grandmother had access to a safe abortion, my mother would not be here, and neither would I. I still believe with all my heart in a woman's right to choose. I still believe with all my heart that my grandmother should have had that choice, the option to do so safely. My grandmother was a waitress. She enjoyed sewing. She used her waitress money to send herself to seamstress school. She used her seamstress money to invest in low-end real estate. My grandmother rented small, tattered, but clean rooms to countless poor Black men during the Great Migration to the North. She was officially an independent, successful woman. The family who shunned her now asked for help. She helped them. Her success also allowed my mother to finish school. My mother became the first to attend college, get a PhD, and become an OBGYN medical doctor. A generation later, my mother was providing reproductive health care to women and girls that my grandmother never had safe or affordable access to. As a girl, I worked in my mother's office. One day, I received an angry call asking if we offered abortions. Later, my mother explained that if we weren't careful, the office could get bombed because of what people thought. I asked my mother if she performed abortions. She never said yes. She would only say that her responsibility was to her patients, that she considered not just their medical needs, but their emotional needs and personal circumstances. In the later stages of her career, my mother had several patients who she delivered 3 generations of babies. My mother had white patients, yet most of her patients were women of color. I distinctly remember she served many heavily covered immigrant women. I also remember the men who got agitated with my mother when she refused to allow them in the examination room. When mailing annual wellness reminders, I asked, why so many patients had out-of-state addresses? I learned the patients had lived in the area, but moved out of state. They traveled far for their appointments. When I pressed my mother about this, she explained that having high quality, affordable reproductive health care where you felt safe and respected was not common. That this was something to be cherished and valued, especially for women of color. I pray for a time where high quality, affordable reproductive health care, where women and girls feel safe and respected, is indeed common. is indeed practiced and made available as a basic human right. May it be so.